اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم واشفهم. آپ سوالات وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم واشفهم. آپ سب کی خدمات میں امام عصر علیہ الصلوۃ والسلام کی ولادت باسعادت کی مبارکباد پیش کرتا ہوں، اور الحمدللہ ایسٹ میں آج عید نوروز بھی منایا جا رہا ہے، اور ہمارے وقت کے حساب سے شاید 10:33 پر جو تقریباً یہی ٹائم ہو رہا ہے. السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ.
وعلیکم السلام ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ.
آج آپ حضرات کے لیے میں نے 3 آیات چنی ہیں جس میں امام عصر کی فضیلت اور امامت کی پر آیات ہیں. ویسے قرآن میں مختلف مقامات پر جیسے سورہ توبہ میں ہیں، سورہ ہود میں ہیں، سورہ نور میں ہیں، سورہ زخرف میں ہیں. کم از کم یہ 4 مقامات پر دیکھا گیا ہے، اور میں سورہ توبہ کی سے 3 آیات میں پڑھنا چاہتا ہوں آپ لوگ حضرات کی اجازت سے. صلوات بر محمد وعلی محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجهم.
اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان اللعین الرجیم. اتخذوا احبارهم ورهبانهم اربابا من دون اللہ والمسیح ابن مریم وما امروا الا ليعبدوا الہا واحد لا الہ الا هو سبحانہ عما یشرکون. یریدون ان یطفئوا نور اللہ بافواہہم ویأبی اللہ الا ان یتم نورہ ولو کرہ الکافرین ولو کرہ الکافرون. صدق اللہ العلی العظیم. ان لوگوں نے اردو ترجمہ اس کا یہ ہے کہ ان لوگوں نے تو اپنے خدا کو چھوڑ کر اپنے عالموں کو اور اپنے زاہدوں کو اور مریم کے بیٹے مسیح کو اپنا پروردگار بنا ڈالا، حالانکہ انہیں سوائے اس کے اور حکم ہی نہیں دیا گیا کہ خدا یکتا کی عبادت کریں، اس کے سوا اور کوئی قابل پرستش نہیں. جس چیز کو یہ لوگ اس کا شریک بناتے ہیں اور وہ اس سے پاک و پاکیزہ ہے. یہ لوگ چاہتے ہیں کہ اپنے منہ سے پھونک مار کر خدا کے نور کو بجھا دیں، اور خدا اس کے سوا کچھ مانتا ہی نہیں کہ اپنے نور کو پورا ہی کر رہے گا، اگرچہ کہ کفار برا مانا کریں. صدق اللہ العلی العظیم. اور اس کا انگریزی ترجمہ یہ ہے کہ they have made their rabbis and their monks and the Messiah of the son of Mary as lords besides Allah, though they were only ordered to worship one God. There is no God but him. Transcendent is he above what they associate. They desire to extinguish the light of Allah with their mouths, and Allah refuses but to perfect his light, though the disbelievers detest it. صدق اللہ العلی العظیم. اللہم صلی علی محمد.
اللہم صلی علی محمد وعلی محمد. جزاک اللہ قمر عبدی صاحب، بہت بہت شکریہ آپ کا. اب میں ڈاکٹر شیبہ رضوی صاحب سے ملتمس ہوں کہ وہ اپنا لیکچر شروع کریں. I would like to invite Dr. Shaeba Rizvi to start the lecture. Thank you very much. جزاک اللہ ڈاکٹر صاحب.
السلام علیکم. بہت بہت شکریہ ظفر صاحب.
وعلیکم السلام.
ظفر صاحب وہ شیئر اسکرین کا بھی کر دیجیے گا جیسے آپ نے پچھلی دفعہ کیا. تھینک یو سو مچ.
آپ کی جگہ آپ کو ہر دفعہ کہنا پڑتا ہے، ہر دفعہ ہم بھول جاتے ہیں.
یہ تو روٹین ہے، اس میں کوئی ایسی بات نہیں.
شکریہ جی. شیئر اسکرین کی آپشن ہو گئی، آپ ٹرائی کریں.
جی ہو گیا. بسم اللہ. اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان اللعین الرجیم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغه مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون الذي لا يدركه بعد الهمم ولا يناله غوص الفتن الذي ليس لصفته حد محدود ولا نعت موجود ولا وقت معدود ولا أجل ممدود فطر الخلائق بقدرته ونشر الرياح برحمته ووتدى بالصخور ميادان أرضه أفضل الدين معرفته ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خير المبشرين والمنذرين شفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وحبيب قلوبنا سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين أما بعد قال علي بن أبي طالب أفضل الدين معرفته بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Dearest Momineen, Mominat, viewers, listeners, respected elders, peers, and youngers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Indeed, my great honor again to be present with such esteemed and honorable people on this Sunday as we continue with our sermon number 91, Khutbatul Ashbah, in which we have reached the point where we are now in this section, and I'm using this wonderful website, alislam.org, which has given a pretty good translation for this sermon especially. Translations are always hit and miss. So of course we never get the full, I would say, benefit from a translation that you do from the original. However, I think it touches upon many of the important points that are present in the Arabic text itself. So last time we were discussing Allah's creation. It goes through in various parts, and we started by talking about the description of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whom only the Ma'sumin can describe, and to describe him itself is indeed a big challenge. Then we went on to the attributes of Allah, and then now we talked about Allah's creation last time. And we continued talking about Allah's creation, and we reached this point here where we talked about the limits that he has fixed for everything. We will move on past here to the next section. And we begin by saying that Amir al-Mu'mineen has said that thus the creation was completed by his order, and it bowed to his obedience and responded to his call. So there is a very important truth and claim that is being stated over here, and that is that everything in creation is bowing to his obedience and responding to his call, whether they are sometimes aware of it or not, but inadvertently everything obeys him in some sense. Now, some are obeying him in a complete way, and some are obeying him, we could say, partially. And therefore we see humans, especially at the peak of that, who have been given free will, so they are able to obey Allah or disobey him. But even in their disobedience to him, we notice that humans have the factor of obedience. And what do we mean by that? Simply that, yes, if I become a rebellious human, and therefore I decide to deny my creator, I adopt atheism, I refuse to believe in him, so am I really obeying him? Well, not in the spiritual sense, and not in the sense that he gave us free will over. He gave us free will to disobey him, but our heart, our lung, our organs, our body, all the factors around us that influence our life, the story that unfolds in our life as we travel through it, many tests that pass before us, many events and afflictions that come upon us. We do not control any of that. So our body, in its sense, is obeying Allah. Even though we think we are being disobedient, our heart beats because of his command. Our lungs breathe because he has willed it so. Our feet are only able to take us where we want in disobedience to him because he has allowed them to. We can use our tongue to disavow him and speak in speeches that cause us to disbelieve in Allah, but that is something that is coming from a tongue that he has allowed us to have control over. So therefore, his obedience is occurring in every atom. It is strange. The human being is the most strange, that every atom inside my body, which is made of organs, which are made of tissues, which are made of cells, which are made of atoms. And these atoms and chemicals all obey the laws of Allah. Yet when it all comes together, I'm able to use it to disobey him. So at the base level, at the chemical level, atomic level, at the level of the laws of nature and forces of the universe, everything is in obedience to Allah. What we see is a little bit of the tyranny in the world, a little bit of the transgressions, and we start to think that Allah has left and there was no one here controlling anything. Yet everything is in his complete control. وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. It is those who think that in their rebellion against him, they have somehow attained an independence. But we see that Amir al-Mu'mineen has also told us, وَلَا يُمْكِنُ الْفِرَارُ مِنْ حُكُومَتِكَ in Du'a Kumal. And we cannot escape from him. We cannot go anywhere. The man asked the Imam and said, "Oh, Master, I try to follow Islam and I try to be obedient, but every time I am enticed towards sin and it is hard for me to stop sinning, what should I do?" And the Imam said, if you don't want to stop sinning, then it's very easy. All you have to do is go somewhere that Allah's laws do not exist, and you can disobey him as much as you want. So that is the free will side of us. But at the base, everything else and the majority of our body functions and the universe functions are occurring in his obedience. The laziness of any slug or the inertness of any excuse finder did not prevent it from doing so. So that's where our free will comes in. Laziness is part of our free will as well. We can choose to be lazy. And that means that it is one of the tests that we give. It is one of the things that we protect ourselves from. In one of the beautiful du'as of Bibi Zahra salamullah alayha, when she speaks about protecting ourselves, I would say, from bad qualities, we see one of them being laziness, one of them being envy, one of them being the insecurities, the complexities, jealousy. So there's many characteristics that come that we need to fight against, and one of them is laziness. So when everything is so active within our body, then what is really lazy? Our body is never at rest, every atom and every electron in constant movement all of the time. This was something the great Imam Jafar al-Sadiq as-salatu was-salamu alayhi, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. In Kitab al-Tawheed, you'll see an accumulation of what the Aimma, the Masumeen, have said about Tawheed and the concept itself. And in one of them, he is talking with a man who is an atheist or claims to be. And the Imam says, Imam Jafar at that time says, do you not know that this mountain, every little particle in that mountain is in constant motion all the time? And that's the atomic theory that we understand now, centuries later. So the idea of laziness and the idea of not doing anything is really our own free will, but the world wasn't meant for rest. And the Imam says, I am surprised at the one who looks for rest in this world, because Allah did not design it for rest and relaxation. It seems that our dreams are leading towards that idea of relaxation. The average lifestyle that is sold and marketed in, especially where we live in this part of the world, is about the dream home and the dream car and the dream life, and then the dream vacation and going and relaxing, and then the dream retirement. And it seems like there's always a need. I'm not talking about not going out into the world and seeing places. Yes, Quran says that the earth is for you, go, roam and see. and see all the blessings of Allah. And rest and relaxation are a part of our routine, part of our day. But I'm talking about the idea where we prioritize it and becomes this goal in our mind that as I go through life, eventually I must rest and relax. It seems that everything leads to that. So rest and relax is good because it allows us to be refreshed for work, definitely. But I've seen many times in this society, there are those who will work 5 days a week so that on the weekend they can lose their senses and get intoxicated by alcohol and then just do nothing. And then they want to work, and the idea of the dream life is to retire early and then spend all our latter years doing nothing. And the Imam says that do not search for rest and relaxation in this world. Allah has not put it anywhere. And that is why we're always running after this world, but we're never able to rest and relax in it. So the idea of inertness is something that is not meant to be adopted by the Muslim. In fact, one of the strangest characteristics of a mu'min that I found, and Imam Zain al-Abidin, as-salatu was-salamu alayhi, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, speaks about it, says that when you look at the mu'min, he will always look as if he is about to get up and leave. That means you may see him seated, and he looks like he is in a sitting position, but it looks like any moment he will just get up and leave. And I wondered about that because there's so many characteristics of the mu'mineen that are very clear. And, you know, they pray 51 rakats a day. They have the aqiq. They are always saying Bismillah out loud. There's many things which you can understand. No one is ever feeling unsafe from a mu'min. Everyone always feels they can trust them. Everyone feels that they can rely on them. And there are many characteristics, but this one, if you think about it, very different from the rest. The mu'min will sit down, and it will look like they are about to get up and leave at any moment. There are two things I derive from this, and one is that the mu'min is never in a state of complete rest. The mu'min is always in a state of certain amount of activity. The anbiya who have, an iman of a level that is difficult to understand are said to never sleep. They sleep, but their eyes are open. Or our prophet is, even with his eyes closed, seeing what's in front and what's behind. So the idea of losing our senses or being inattentive or just going into this mindless state, that wasn't really part of what makes us better and what allows us to evolve. So we see that, and the second thing is that I notice when you look at this sentence that the mu'min looks like they are seated, but they will get up and leave at any moment. It shows the concept of intizar, and so therefore true waiting in a sense that now I see a moment in the time of ghabat, whenever you see them seated, they seem like they are relaxed, but one ear is always listening for the nida of Jibreel that will come from the skies. And it is like at any moment they are just waiting to get up. So that idea and that kind of intizar, where you're waiting to hear a sound, that is intizar. The anticipation of the phone that is about to ring, the doorbell that is about to sound, the knock on the door, when you are waiting for the announcement, when you are sitting in the waiting lounge of the airport, waiting for the announcement to be made so you can get up and go and stand in line. That kind of waiting, where yes, you may be on your phone talking to somebody, but your one ear is there, and then you immediately take your phone away to listen to the announcement. We have so many sights and sounds around us, but our objective is one and one only. Let us hear the nida of Jibreel alayhi salam, and let us get ready to get up and leave, one step outside our door and second step in front of the Kaaba. Every time we go to our door, the idea should not be, I'm going to my door because I have to go groceries. I have to go to the masjid. I mean, all those are very important things to do, but the goal is, we're always thinking that there will come a time when I step out of this door and one foot will be here, one foot will be in front of the Kaaba. So that kind of mental practice is intizar. When we are doing intizar like that, it is said that intizar is more difficult than maut. In Arabic, there is a saying, and it says intizar is more difficult. It is difficult, then death itself. And that is true waiting. Not waiting like we're waiting for an email and we're just relaxing and having a party while we're waiting. No, waiting where every cell in your body is in anticipation of it, where everything else you're doing seems secondary. Everything else you're doing seems that it is just a hindrance to getting to your real purpose. So that is intizar. And when we have that intizar and we feel the pain of it, then we wish for death. Then we're saying, oh Allah, intizar, it is better for you to just take me now, or send the imam or take me. I cannot wait like this anymore. That is the level where now we are doing intizar. And so inertness is not part of that. And that is why, you will always see, you will see the ones who have, and when you meet them, the ruhaniyat people, the ones who have spirituality, who have iman, who inspire you, you'll never see them sitting in a laid back, relaxed way. They don't walk into the Imam Balagha and find a seat to lay back and spread their, of course, people have, issues, health issues, knee, back, hip, so on. There's lots of reasons for it, but you know what I mean. I've seen it more in youth than in the elderly, that sluggishness. With his power, he created coherence in their contradictory parts. Sometimes in youth we see, and I see this, and so my young ones, I urge you, be aware of your body when you're walking. Have control of this physicality. It is the first step to having control of your nafs. Know where your arms are, where your legs are. When you walk, everything is in control. Everything is measured. Did you know that one man says, and it's a riwayat from, I believe, from Adamatul Saqiba, and an Arabic book, but it translated in Urdu. But he says that I was waiting in the masjid in Medina for Imam Sajjad alayhi salam to come. And I had never seen him before. And I was waiting for him to come in. And as I was waiting, I was looking at every person that walked in. I had been told that he comes at this time. So I knew he was going to come. And as every person that came, I said, no, no, no. Now, this is incredible because we want ma'rifah of our imam. We want to recognize the imam of our time. We want to make sure that when he comes, we know who he is and not the false ones. And we follow the right one, because many will be misled. Many will be misguided. And so ma'rifah of our imam becomes something that is a priority. It's number one for us, because this will lead to everything else. Ma'rifat of Tawheed, it will lead to ma'rifah of our salat, our ibadah, it will lead to fulfilling our purpose. So the idea of seeing him and recognizing him is quite incredible. And many people, especially young ones, often ask, how will I recognize him? What is my plan? What should I do? And they have all these ways, One young one, smart one, said, I have a plan. I said, what's your plan? He said, when the imam comes, ajjallahu farajahum, and I'm not sure which one is the imam, I will go up to him and I will ask him to speak to me in a certain language. And so if the imam can speak in any language, that's our imam. And if they cannot communicate in every language, I said, okay, that's fine. But what if they use technology to fool you? What if they have a little pod mic in over here, and then when you're talking, they're using some kind of computer backup, Google Translate, somebody's helping them, and they're constantly replying and translating. Sure, our imam definitely speaks to the birds and to the insects and to the trees and the mountains and the moon and the sun, and every atom in creation is aware of your imam and speaking to your imam, and your imam speaks to them. But I said that that's not iman. That's not ma'rifah though. Ma'rifah is recognition. And ma'rifah means that you see and you know. So you want to attain the level where you don't have to test your imam. Rather, you will see him and you will say, this is the son of Ali ibn Abi Talib as-salatu was-salamu alayh. You will hear one sentence from his mouth and you will say, no one else but the son of Bibi Zahra salamullah alayha could say this. So that kind of ma'rifah. And this man, interestingly, sees Imam and immediately recognizes him. How does he know he is Imam Sayyid al-Sajidin alayhi salam? He says that when he walked in, I saw upon his face a peace, and there was a gentle smile. and there was knowledge and forbearance and light in his face. When he walked, I saw him walking in a very calm and controlled demeanor. I noticed that every step he took was even. I noticed that the way his shoulders and his arms moved with his legs were in complete symmetry and perfection. He did not take a step that was too long, as if he was in a hurry. He did not take a step that was too short, as if he was frightened of something. He walked with his shoulders straight and his chin up. Just the way the Imam was walking, this man was able to know the perfection in it. So what does that show you? The degree of control over your being and your body is also part of your faith. And that is what leads to control of your nafs. And that is what leads to the deeper level where you start to realize your ruh and realize its power and realize what it's meant for. But that comes much later. So the first step for our young ones is just to be aware of your body. And you will know when you are walking, how you are walking. You will know when you are sitting. You can look at somebody and just observe their posture, the facial expressions, and how their body is. So not to be knocking things over everywhere we go, not when we sit down, now we are not able to put our back up, our leg has to go there, it has to go there, we're changing positions. This is not what we call control and self-awareness. So self-awareness begins with physical and then moves on to spiritual. With his power, he created coherence in their contradictory parts and joined together the factors of similarity. So coherence in contradictory parts, they came together, but they were contradictory. This is Allah's laws of chemistry and physics. He caused the positive and negative subatomic particles that make a neutron to come to, to be attracted to each other. But he also caused, like in a cell, or rather in an atom, you say that the protons are attracted to electrons, because opposites attract. But he also caused in a nucleus of an atom many protons to stay together, yet protons are all positive. And he caused the electrons all to stay outside, yet they are all negative. So opposites are attracting each other, but in many places he put the similarities together and with his will caused them to come together. Then he separated them in varieties which differ in limits, quantities, properties, and shapes. So this is how he classified all of his creation. He made them firm and shaped according to his will, as he wished and as he invented them. He arranged the depressions and elevations of the openings of the sky. So we see the stratospheres of our earth, an incredible cover that allows us to be protected, that allows as much sunlight as we need to come in, but keeps away all of the dangerous matter in space and only keeps what we need here. It's the most incredible roof that we have. He has joined the breadth of his breeches and he has joined them with one another. Amir al-Mu'mineen describing how the sky is formed and expands, comes in a circle, and then completes itself. He has made easy the approach to its heights for those angels who come down with his commands and who go up with deeds of his creatures. So he has allowed angels to pass through this. So angels are always piercing the sky to come towards us and going back. So we see here that there is a literal system in place, and angels are carrying and bringing forth, taking away our prayers towards Allah and our deeds towards him, and bringing commands and blessings from him down towards us. He called, but then again, that is part of the Ruhani world. And that is part of the world that we start to see once we start to control our nafs, which only comes once we start to control our physical being. And that begins with just how we use this physical body. At once the links of it joined up. So the sky is linked together. That is why it does not separate and keeps a solid roof above us. Then Allah opened up its closed door and put the sentinels of meteors at its holes. So that means that we see there were doors that were closed and he allowed them to open, but he has also kept those openings protected. Meteors Allahu Akbar. We see that many times, and meteors or satellites, anything that's orbiting the sky, it has its own function and purpose. And how many times meteors are flying through the universe. Astronomers, physicists predict that it's going to come and hit our planet. Yet we see planets like Jupiter protecting us. One time, I was talking with somebody. They brought up a good point. They were talking about basically atheism and trying to prove imperfections in the universe, and saying that if the universe was perfect, then why would meteors be flying across, coming from here to there? Why would they be hitting the Earth or hitting other planets? We know the moon was formed partially when a meteor hit it. And so, yes, Allah has used the force of meteors in creation, but he also uses meteors to show us that someone is protecting us. The idea of creating dangers and then creating safeguards is, again, a way to motivate us to seek him and his help, because he is the true protector. And you look at this big planet like Jupiter, which is huge compared to the rest of your solar system, it almost begs the question, what's it doing here? But you see it as a huge ball of gas that is attracting all the meteors, and many meteors that would have hit Earth are being protected by this planet itself. So then Allah opened its closed doors and held them with his hands. So here again, we see the power. Hands is power, but the Shias know that the hands of Allah are Yadullah, and Yadullah is Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam, or your Imam of the time. So that means that Allah is influencing the universe through his power and controlling it. That power has a name. That power is called Al-Hujjat. That power is Al-Qaim. So that is what Allah uses to keep the sky and the earth. In Dua Nudba, we say to our Imam, and we say, "Oh Master, you are the reason for why the sky has not fallen upon the earth. The sky is in its place, the earth is in its place, yet you who keeps it in place, I cannot see you. I can see all of creation that exists because of you. Yet we do not see you. We see everything else, yet we do not see you." So this tells us that the power and might of Allah is your Imam. And the night and the day and the sky, he commanded it to remain stationary in obedience to his commands. So your roof is always there. It never leaves you. He has made its sun the bright indication for its day, and the moon the gloomy indication for the night. So we know that the Quran says, وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا, and he made the layl, the night, as a libas. It is a covering for you. It is a clothing. And the day for ma'asha, the day is for work. The day is for earning your sustenance. And so he divided your day, your 24 hours, into an incredible division where you see, and you can feel it. You feel the energy of the day and the energy of the sun, and you feel the energy, or rather you feel the relaxation of the night. And that's something that you notice, and that is why you know that the salat of the day, they have a different significance, because when you pray in the day, it is that time that is filled with energy and sustenance, and your prayers are to gain that sustenance in a certain sense with your du'as. But you see the night and its prayers, that is what Allah holds in high esteem. That is what he has praised. When the one gets up for Salatul Layl, tahajjud, when the one who sacrifices the time that Allah has given them for relaxation, sacrifices that. In the daytime, you're going about your day anyway. And I remember one time somebody joked, and they had just come from work, and we were about to pray, and he said, "Oh no, I already prayed. I prayed at work." And he joked. He said, "Praying on the meter is much more rewarding." So praying on the meter, meaning that he was still on the job and he was still at the 8 hours of work, and he included his prayer time in there. So I mean, in that sense, you're about your day, you're doing your thing, you're praying. But yes, waking up in the middle of the night to pray, waking up from your night to pray Fajr at the time, before sunrise, those are the things that, you know, that is being cherished. Those are the things that Allah holds in high esteem, because He created the night for relaxation. Your body and your hormones respond to the sun. There is a gland in your brain that's called the pineal gland. In endocrinology, in the study of hormones, the pineal gland is a little mysterious. It's not properly understood, but it's considered to be the mother gland. And it's considered to be the gland that influences all the other glands of your body. And the glands of your body create hormones. And the hormones regulate your energy, and they regulate your activity level. So when you wake up in the morning and the sun responds to you, your body also wakes up. We don't know much about the pineal gland, but we know that it secretes a hormone called melatonin. And melatonin responds to the sun. And this also wakes up the other glands. So there is an incredible connection between you and the sun. One, that connection is the connection that the sun gives you warmth. The second connection, it keeps your planet alive. Thirdly, it gives you food, because all the food you eat that is grown in the earth is getting its energy from the sun. And then also, when the sun rises, as the sun is rising, your hormones also increase, like growth hormone, cortisol, epinephrine, thyroid hormone, the hormones that give you energy, the energizing ones. So with the sun, so is your hormone rising. And then as the sun declines, so do the hormone levels and your energy levels. So you are in tune with the sun. That is why when we follow the Islamic timetable, which is to sleep at night and to wake before sunrise, and Amir al-Mu'mineen as-salatu wassalamu alayhi said, do not show the night your dinner, and do not show the sun your breakfast. I'm telling you that eat just before the sun rises, and you know, your breakfast, and eat your dinner just before Maghrib, before the sun sets. And so what that does is that will cause your food to be in link with your hormones, and that causes you to metabolize them better. And that prevents you from just gaining the unnecessary weight that can be harmful to your heart and your joints. So we have this perfectly in tune with the sun. And then also the sun is also said to be your imam, because the sun behind the clouds is your imam. So your imam is giving you life, is giving you rizq, is giving you taharat, is giving you heat. And he is the one also whom you are looking to for energy. So that is your nafs and your ruh. And this sun is just a physical. This is a ball of hydrogen. Your imam is Nurullah. So hydrogen, and there's Nurullah. So therefore we see that he is behind the clouds, but even this hydrogen ball behind the clouds does not hide. I have never seen a cloudy day and thought it was night. Nobody ever walked outside and said, oh, is it night or day? I'm not sure. I mean, yes, there have been circumstances in history where the sky became so dark because of a catastrophe, because of an explosion, because of some kind of special circumstances in the sky. But otherwise, exceptions aside, you never look and say, oh, I think it's night now. No. So how can we think our imam is in ghaiba in that sense? Because when you know, what do you say? You walk outside and tell your child, maybe a little one, say, oh, look, it's nighttime. And the child says, why is it nighttime? Well, look, we don't see the sun. The child will tell us, look, the sun's right there behind the cloud. So our imam is right there. We can see him. We just don't see him directly. But we know the sun is behind the cloud because of the effect of the sun. We are not seeing the sun. You know the imam is behind the cloud because of his effect, even if you don't see him. The effect is so powerful that his wujud is just unquestionable. So do we need another sun if the sun is behind the cloud? No, we don't. When the sun is behind the cloud, we don't say, uh-oh, the sun is behind the cloud. I need a second sun now. No. So why do we need anybody else? You don't. You only need one wasila to Allah, and that is your Imam. My young ones, always remember that. There will be a spiritual being in your life. There will be ruhani people. There will be people of ilm and ulama who can help you to guide you to your Imam, certainly in terms of your acts and how you live your life. But your Imam is the only wasila you need to reach Allah. So we help each other to reach our Imam. Yes, in Dua Nudba we say, "Oh Master, is there anyone who you can send to me who will show me the way to you?" This is the idea that we should realize. We need a ruhani ustad. We need somebody who has traveled the path who can show us. Sure, but never think that you need another wasila, because that would mean that Allah's wasila is weak. So if he is one and he can create a wasila that is one, that is enough for you, that's why there's one imam at a time. You have 12 imams, you have 14 masumin, all of them capable, all of them are at the status of imamat. When you look at the 14, they're all the same nur, same status, same qualities, from the same time, everything's the same. But you have 12 imams, and even in that, only one is the imam at the time. So why is that? When you see that there are 3 imams living in Medina, but only one of them, and none of them are imams while the holy messenger is there, the last of the prophets, who is also at a status of imam. He is called Imam ar-Rahmah. So indeed, he is the Imam of mercy, and he is, of course, at that status, because Imam is the highest status. So Nabuwat, so when we say Khatamun Nabiyyin, he is not just the Khatamun Nabiyyin, he is the beginning of Imamat as well. So we need to realize that we have 12, but as far as status and qualities are concerned, 14 are the same. Why do we only have one at a time? Because you only need one. And Allah's might is such that he uses one to control everything. And that is an indication of his might, so that we don't start to manifest him in different forms. And that's what leads to idol worship. So therefore, our Imam controlling everything. And if we think that we need another wasila, then that is an accusation against him being a wasila. So therefore we say that the night and the day are made for this. And the night is your cloak. He says, then he put into motion their orbits. Now he put into the satellites in orbit, movement of stages of their paths. So everything has a path that is traversing. It's not random. And we try to understand it by the forces of gravity and what we can see. But indeed, it is all happening. It is all happening at the same time. And it is all happening by paths. So they are traveling by paths. Now we know that the dark matter of space is like a cloth that is bent, and the bend is where the planet. So when you have, any kind of a material that actually is able to perhaps bend in a way, and then you have now you have something traveling at the bottom of this. It's like the dark matter is carrying the planet and is traveling in its own set path. So as it's going in its path, Allah ordained it in order to distinguish with their help between the night and the day, and in order that the reckoning of the years and calculations may be known by their fixed movements. So nothing is coincidence. Inna iddat ash-shuhuri 'inda Allahi 12 shahran yawma khalaqa as-samawati wal ard. So from the beginning, in Allah, there were 12 months. And somebody asked the Imam and said, Tafsir al-Burhan, Imam Jafar Sadiq salatu wassalamu alayhi, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad, was asked, why is Allah talking about 12 months in the Quran? Like that's pretty basic, right? I mean, that's something that everybody knows. And even from ancient times with our minimal mathematical, technological instruments, we knew there were 12 months. So Allah is talking about the 12 Imams here. Our Imam says that these are the 12 Imams that from the beginning before the creation of universe, Allah had established this. So that's why we have 12 months. That's why we have, and this 12 is something that is very, very, numerology is incredible. In Allah's formulas and mathematical calculations, it's no coincidence that you have 12 months in the year, or your day can be divided into two. The day is 12 hours, the night is 12 hours. Well, in some parts of the world, like when we used to live in the Middle East, maybe not over here, but you have your face is controlled by 12 cranial nerves, for example. Your body, so there's 12 nerves that control this face. That's how much importance Allah has given to your face. He has 12 nerves controlling it. So he also has 12 wajhullah. You have your face with 12 nerves. Allah also has a face, but it's not a face that's literally his face, but your face expresses what you are feeling in an incredible way, because there's 12 nerves that control all the little muscles in your face, and your face can express things that it would take you an hour to explain, that would take a book to explain. One look at a person's face and you immediately can tell what is inside. Allah is mysterious. Allah is unexplainable. How magnificent would that face have to be? How magnificent would that being have to be called the face of Allah? To look upon Amir al-Mu'mineen and know what Allah feels about you. To look upon Amir al-Mu'mineen, know if Allah is happy with you, if Allah is angry with you, if you are fulfilling your expectations. So the face is incredible. Your body has 12 organ systems that control everything. So the number 12 is something very, very important. Then along with the number 9 as well, definitely. Then he hung in its vastness its sky, and put therein decoration consisting of small pearls and lamp-like stars. He put all of this there, and Amir al-Mu'mineen is saying this is decoration. Allah is the one who loves beauty. He loves husn. He loves decoration. Imam Hussein as-salatu was-salamu alayh, it looks like he's going somewhere. And one of the ghulam in his home asks him and says to him, the servant says, "Oh master, where are you going? Shall I prepare your horse?" And the master says, "No, I'm not going anywhere." He says, "But master, your clothing, you look like you're about to go to some very important place. Darbar, mahfil, you're going to a celebration, you're going to an important meeting." The imam says, "Yes, I'm going to pray." And he says that, now the servant says, "But why are you so dressed up?" And he says that, and who else is saying this? The one who's saying this is Hussein. And Hassan and Hussein come from husn, beauty. So this is beauty itself, is saying that Allah loves beauty. And how would he not know? Because when Allah wanted to show the world what beauty is, he sent the Hasnain, alayhi salam. He sent them into the world. And so we see that I try to change my habits then, where I wear good clothing for the world, but when I come to prayer time, it's maybe in a t-shirt and track pants and what makes me feel comfortable. I'm still guilty, but indeed, we try to learn from our Aimma, we try. And then fix them into stars, moving stars, descending stars, ascending stars, ominous stars, lucky stars. And so, yes, stars have an influence. We are seeing here that Amir al-Mu'mineen is saying that some stars are ascending, some stars are descending. Only he knows their paths. Did not Amir al-Mu'mineen say, "I know the paths of the heavens more than the paths of the earth"? Does he not know the paths of the earth? Certainly he does. But he's saying the paths of the earth are very limited, but in the sky indeed, to go through. And not just going to the moon, not piercing this layer, but now going through the black holes, going through the portals in space, being able to travel light years to other galaxies, or to leave this universe and go to another universe. We know there are multiverses now. So what is Amir al-Mu'mineen speaking of in this one sentence when he says, "I know the ways of the skies," but nobody asked him? In Surah Rahman, we see that challenge over here. Here you'll see in Surah Rahman, "Ya ma'ashar al-jinni wal-insi in istata'atum." Allah is challenging, saying to the societies of jinn and ins and humans, "In istata'atum an tanfudu." If you can penetrate the realms, min aqtar as-samawati wal-ard, of the heaven and earth, Fanfudu, then do so. But you cannot do that without our authority. So that means that we are sending little explorers, but we haven't truly reached the true gates. What we've done is we've pierced our roof, but we haven't gone to the true portals of the galaxies. And beautifully, the Quran says, La tanfuduna, but you cannot do that, illa, except for with bisultan, with the sultan. And so you can't do that without the sultan. That's why it's the sultan himself who said this. We take sultan to be our authority. That's how it's been translated here, our authority. Where does it say our authority? It doesn't even say our anywhere here. There's no our. It says with the sultan. So when we translate in the Quran, many times we just eat words up and take away their true meaning. Gone. Now everybody's not even looking at what sultan even means. And that's why you ask this verse. Ask Surah Isra 17. Verse number 80, what is this? Qul. And he's saying, Qul, Allah has only said to one in the Quran, and that is Muhammad al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Qul rabbi dkhilni mudkhala sidqin. And this is at the time of Fath Makkah. This is at the time when the holiest messenger sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam is about to enter the Kaaba to break the idols. But Allah says, don't go alone, bring that one. Bring this one who everybody will need to break the idols in their heart. Oh, my messenger, use Ali to break those idols, because every mu'min will break the idols in their heart with the hub of Ali ibn Abi Talib. As it enters into your heart, when Ali truly enters into your heart, then every other idol is broken. And then now you are following the will of Amirul Mu'mineen. And now your will is no longer there, but it is only what he wishes. Enter me with the honorable entrance and exit me with the honorable exit. Waj'alli, and give me. Now Allah is asking his beloved to ask him to give him. Waj'alli, and give me. Min ladunka. Don't give me power, don't give me blessings, give me from you. Someone from you. What from you? Sultan. And which sultan? Sultan al-Nasira, the sultan that is the ultimate help, the one who helped all of the prophets, the one who helped anybody who needed help, the one who was called Mushkil Kusha, who was created before Allah created difficulty for you. He created the one who would ease you in your difficulties. He made the sultan first, then he made the difficulties, so that when you face difficulties, you would say, Ya Ali Madad, you would say, Nadi Aliyan Madhar al-Ajaib. So therefore we see that this is the sultan. History shows, the tafasir show, the significance of its relevation show that at that time Amirul Mu'mineen came. So he is the sultan. So do not think you'll be able to pierce the skies and heavens without the sultan. We will do it, but we will do it after the zuhur, because it will be the son of the sultan who will tell you how to reach the far reaches of the universe. You have plundered the resources. We have run out of lithium. We have run out of some of the semiconductors, metals that we use in our computers. All of our technology now is reaching a limiting point. That's why we're spending billions of dollars going to other planets or trying to reach other bodies in the universe, so that we can start to mine their resources. But what they do not know is that the resources have been hidden now. You have reached the point of technology you needed to reach, and that point of technology is there now. Now the world is ready. Why did the last prophet come last? The world needed to be ready to reach a certain level of civilization and intellect, so that they could accept that final message. This evolution of human society occurred over 124,000, well, rather one less than that, to reach the point where now the last messenger comes. And then from the last messenger, society needs to reach a point of technology where now the last one will come. And the last one that will come is the one whom, and I would like to, spend the last 9 or 10 minutes here, last 9 minutes, just with what, Qibla Qamar Abdi Sahab had mentioned in these verses. And indeed, You know, what a beautiful selection. Because when you look over here, you know, this is describing us now. Do not think that the Quran was this, that Allah is, you know, just wants to talk about people that passed away. Allah doesn't gossip. So when he's talking about the Bani Israel, when he's talking about the Yehud and Nasara, it's talking about us. And always remember the verse. Whenever you read any verse that has Bani Israel and the young ones, remember the hadith. And the hadith says that, oh, my Muslims, oh, my ummah, you will follow the sunnah of Bani Israel till you put your step exactly where they put their feet, and you will leave nothing out from what they did. Everything they did, you will do. This is not ta'rif. This is not the sinna. You know, this is not being praised. This is admonishment that everything they did, the killers of prophets, and the Muslims will kill the A'immah. They did the exact same thing. So when it says over here, and you know, وَقَالَتِ الْيَهُودُ عُزَيْرُ ibn Allah, and the Jews said that Hazrat Uzair is the son of Allah. وَقَالَتِ النَّصَارَى الْمَسِيحُ ibn Allah, and they say he is the son of Allah. ذَلِكَ قَوْلُهُمْ بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ. This is just something they are saying. Saying doesn't make it true. And يُضَاهِئُونَ قَوْلَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ قَبْلَ. They're saying the same thing that people before used to say. قَاتَلَهُمُ اللَّهُ. Allah will fight them. And who's going to fight them? Your Imam is going to fight them. But sometimes when someone does something, Allah says, I am doing it. Like for your Imam's judge, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, Allah says, وَمَا رَمَيْتَ إِذْ رَمَيْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ رَمَى. Indeed, you did not throw. You didn't throw the stones. He threw the stones. The Prophet threw the stones. In the Quran, in Surah Anfal, he's saying, you didn't throw them, I threw them. Everybody sees he's throwing them. Allah says, no, it was me. So therefore, we see that when the Masumeen's will is the same as the will of Allah, it makes no difference. Anna yu'fikun, and what kind of delusion are they in? أَتَّخُذُوا أَحْبَارَهُمْ وَرُحْبَانَهُمْ أَرْبَابًا. This is what we are in danger of doing now. This is what happened with the Jews, with the Christians, and the Muslims also have started doing this. What are they doing? They are taking their priests and the Messiah as lords of Allah. So as lords besides Allah, excuse me, astaghfirullah, as lords besides Allah. So this means that now there is someone who is also their Lord. And what does that mean? That means that we are blindly following without at all taking responsibility for our own iman and aqidah. We have to answer for ourselves. The Quran says, "La taziru waziratun wuzra ukhra." No one who bears a burden will bear the burden for anyone else. So therefore, we are responsible. Allah has given us that right. Therefore, do not blindly follow anyone onto the wrong path. You always have to answer for your own aqidah. It's easy to put my responsibility on someone else. But if we do that, now we are taking lords other than them. وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا إِلَهًا وَاحِدًا. Even though they were commanded to worship only Him, لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ. There is no God but Him. Subhanahu amma yushrikun. What you are doing, He is above this. And this is the two enemies that you are facing now. The two enemies that you are facing now, that your Imam is facing. And I assure you, my young ones, my elders know better than me. I assure you, my young ones, the enemies of your Imam are waiting for him more than we are, unfortunately. Unfortunately, their planning is more, their belief is more. Nothing is happening in the world in a coincidence. Political moves right now, what the world is doing, where armies are stationed, where power is being controlled, who is being weakened, who is being strengthened. All of this is in preparation for your Imam. Do not think that Iblis is sitting idle. In Al-Kafi, and in Tafsir Imam al-Hasan al-Askari, salatu wassalamu alayhi, it is mentioned that the Imam says that with every son of Adam, every daughter of Adam, there are two children of Iblis. They are twice as much as us. And Allah has never wanted majority. So when Iblis asked for offspring, Allah said, we give you two, take these two. And so that's why we don't need majority. Most of them are against your Imam. Most of them are waiting for him in enmity. And yes, they are planning. And Iblis is in their blood. And he is whispering to them. And Iblis is one who has been around for at least 56,000 years. From what I've counted, at least 56,000 years old, if not older. That means that 56,000 years of experience, he has seen the downfall of all the jinn on the earth. He has seen the rise of Hazrat Adam on the earth. He has seen all of the offspring of Hazrat Adam. And he doesn't sit lazy. Iblis never goes and drinks in bars and just sits there dancing all night. Iblis never goes and hangs out on the beach and gets a suntan. Iblis doesn't take Christmas vacations. Him and his army and those who are following him knowingly or unknowingly are all very, very active. And therefore, exactly. So what we need to do is we need to be vigilant. And what are they doing? Yuriduna. And this is how Allah gives all their efforts. What is their efforts? Billions and billions and trillions of dollars spent in making weapons of mass destruction, chemical weapons, nuclear weapons, surveillance technology, controlling, wanting to know everything. All of their efforts that you see around you. Do not fret. Allah says, yuriduna yutfi'u nurullahi bi afwahihim. They want to extinguish the nur of Allah with their breaths, with the blowing of their mouths. We can barely extinguish a candle with our mouth. We have to make a full effort for the candle that we light in our home. We cannot extinguish a forest fire with our mouths. We cannot even claim to touch the sun that is a ball of hydrogen. Allah says, you will extinguish my nur. Allah only wishes to yutimma nurahu, to tamam, to complete his nur. That means that the nur has come, but the last one hasn't come. It is incredible what your Imam is. Amirul Mu'mineen is he. When he is given to humanity, Allah says, Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinukum. Ali is the one who completes your deen. Wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati. And this tamam completes the ni'mat. But your Imam Hujjatul Qa'im, even after that, when Allah says, Atmamtu alaykum ni'mati, there's nothing left. Nothing left now. If I have given you Ali, I have given you everything. The one whose treasure is never lessened, the one who gives from his treasure and the chest never is lessened, says, I've given you everything now. So what is this everything? Who can understand? But even then, he's saying there is baqiyatullahi khairul lakum, the Quran says. There is a baqiyatullah. So even after you've given us everything, there's still something left. And that is your Imam, the one who remains. Why? Because he is the one who completes his nur. So we will understand the nur of Allah when his nur comes. And they, walau karihal kafirun. Here you get the definition of the kafir. Who is the kafir? The kafir is the one who wants to extinguish the nur of Allah. If he wants to extinguish the nur of Allah, that means he knows there is an Allah. He has gained enmity to him. So he is not denying Allah. What he is trying to do is extinguish the Imam, the light of Allah. So when you go against the Imam, you are kafir. Going against Allah and denying Allah is almost impossible. It is impossible. How do you deny that, which is wajib al-wujud? But what you can deny, what Allah has given you authority, willpower to deny is his hujjat. That's what Iblis did, because he had the free will to deny his hujjat. So therefore that is kufr. So one is your enemy, the kafirin, not the munafiqeen now. Munafiqeen have been exposed. Everybody knows who is who. That's why it's the age of labeling, because we know, who is, more a lover of the Ahlul Bayt, who is not, who is how much, who is, believing, who is not. It's all open now. Your enemies know what you think. You don't do tabarra, that's okay. They already know. There's nothing you can hide now. So now the munafiq is exposed, and this was to happen because the time of zuhur, this is the time of filtering, where many people who are wearing the cloak of Islam, now they are being forced to take it off. So we're saying, wo deen se utar gaya, wo sirat se utar gaya, wo deen se phir gaya, bade deendar the, Canada aake pata nahi America aake kya ho gaya unko. No. They never were. It's just that they had the clothing on. As soon as they get a chance, they throw it off. वो जनाब कराची में बैठे हुए थे, अंचोली में, रिजविया में, कुछ था ही नहीं सिवाय अली अली के, हुसैन के, इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं था. अब यहाँ पे आए तो ये बीचेस पार्टी, ये अल्कोहल, ये वो फौरन लिबास उतर गया. People are just exposing now. Why? Because the time has come. And now it's just a matter of being ready. We have to be completely ready. So therefore, exactly, kana min al-kafirin, beautiful. That's Iblis. And so one enemy is your kafir. I've gone over my time by 2 minutes. I'm just finishing. One enemy is the kafir. Huwa alladhi arsala rasulahu bil huda wa deen al-haq. This verse clearly says that he sent Rasul with Ali. Huwa alladhi arsala rasulahu bil huda, with hidayat. But he says, ma antum illa Mundirun walikulli qawmin had. Oh my beloved messenger, you are a warner. Just warn them. For every qawm I have made a hadi. And the hadi is your imam. The imam is your hadi. So he has sent a hadi. He has sent your prophet with an imam. Wa deen al-haq. And what is deen al-haq? Well, what did Surah Isra say? We were just over here, and it says, وَقُلْ رَبِّ ادْخِلْنِي مُدْخَلَ صِدْقٍ وَاجْعَلْنِي مِن لَدُنْكَ سُلْطَانًا نَصِيرًا. How did Allah announce the coming of Ali when the Prophet asked for the Sultan and Nasira? Min ladunka. Ladun is right next to you. It's saying from you, from what is as close to you without being inside. What is inside is indiyat. That is a different level. That is the batin of the masumin that we cannot probably understand. But indiyat is right here. Ladun. Indiyat. So that's why, fatadallah fakana kaba qawsayn fa oh adna. That adna, now we're close. And now what does he say? He says, Qul ja al-haq wa zahaq al-batila. Inna al-batila kana zahuqa. This is your imam who's going to come. This haq. This haq is when Amir al-Mu'mineen came to the Kaaba. So haq is your imam. And that's why in this verse it says, Bil huda wa deen al-haq. I sent you with the deen of the imam, liyudhira ala deen kulli, that would take over all of the other adyan. Walau kariha al-mushrikun. Who is the mushrik? The mushrik is the one who is presenting a deen besides your imam. So there's going to be two enemies. One will want to fight your imam because they want to kill him and they want authority. Others will want to fight your imam because they want to have their religion. And that's going to be the false imams. And there will be many, many of them. Some have come, many are to come. Indiyat. Iqasi minniyat. Subhanallah. So thank you, and sorry I went 5 minutes over. It is the month of our Imam, and it is the era of his coming, and it is the greatest act of worship to wait for him. And know, my young ones, my elders know better than me. They are seeing everything. It is clearly unfolding before their eyes. My young ones know it is any moment now. Any moment now, you need to live your life like every breath. At any moment, you will hear the nida. Even when you are sleeping, keep one ear open. Even when your eyes are closed, keep one eye. As Shaheed Ustad Sifte Jafar said, Kaaba pe nigah tikaye rakhna. Keep one eye upon the Kaaba. Your Imam will be standing there any moment now, inshallah. And inshallah, we will be those who will come with him and sacrifice ourselves at his feet, and know that the preparation for your Imam is Karbala. There is no better path to your Imam than Karbala. It will teach you the sacrifice you need to be ready to die at the feet of your Imam. That is why we are waiting, not so that he will come and give us countries and buildings and we will, be doing this and that, so that we can do what the people of Karbala did. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Jazakallah, Maulana Sahab. Thank you. Shukriya bahut bahut. مومنین مومنات آپ سے گزارش ہے کہ ایک دفعہ سورہ فاتحہ اور 3 دفعہ سورہ اخلاص پڑھ کر آج کے جو پروگرام کے اسپانسرز ہیں ان کے جملہ مرحومین، اس میں اپنے بھی مرحومین کو شامل کر لیں، جتنے محبان محمد و آل محمد مرحومین ہیں ان سب کو شامل کر لیں. اور مرحومین کے نام یہ ہیں: سید محمد عسکری جعفری، رضیہ بیگم، سید مصطفیٰ علی موسوی، کاظم النساء بیگم، سید محمد ہادی جعفری، تقیہ بیگم، نسرین بیگم، معصومہ بیگم، اعجاز علی، سیدہ مجیدہ، سیدہ مشہدی، مجیدہ کربلائی، اشرف النساء بیگم، سید مہدی حسن جعفری، سیدہ جعفری، سید ریاضت علی جعفری، طیبہ جعفری، اور جملہ مومنین مومنات جو مرحومین ہو چکے ہیں.
جزاک اللہ.
Now, Momin Momnat, if you have any questions, you can ask, and Dr. Shaeba Rizvi will inshallah answer those questions. Jazakallah.
اس سے پہلے اپنے مولانا کی والدہ کی طبیعت بہت خراب ہے، علیل ہیں وہ، تو ہم سب اپنے دل سے اور ایمان سے دعا کرتے ہیں کہ ان کو جلد از جلد شفائے کامل عطا ہو، اور اس کے لیے 5 وقت جو ہے وہ ہاسپٹلائزڈ ہیں، تو اما یوجیبل 5 وقت پڑھیں. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. اما
یجیب المضطر اذا دعاہ ویکشف السوء، اما یجیب المضطر اذا دعاہ ویکشف السوء، اما یجیب المضطر اذا دعاہ ویکشف السوء، اما یجیب المضطر اذا دعاہ ویکشف السوء، اما یجیب المضطر اذا دعاہ ویکشف السوء. اللہ تعالیٰ اس آئے شفا کے صدقے میں، بیمار کربلا کے صدقے میں، جناب ڈاکٹر شیبہ صاحب کی والدہ جو اس وقت شدید علیل ہیں، اور جتنے بھی مومنین مومنات جہاں جہاں بھی مریض ہیں ان سب کو صحت کلی اور عاجل عطا فرمائے.
ہیٹس آف فار ڈاکٹر شیبہ رضوی صاحب کے ان حالات میں بھی وہ تشریف لائے ہیں اور اتنا پیارا بیان کیا ہے. اللہ ان کی توفیقات میں مزید اضافہ فرمائے. ماشاء اللہ.
عباس بھائی بہت زمانے کے بعد آئے آپ، ذرا کچھ سوال